All right, next up, we are going to talk about the blog, and we're going to go firstly into the blog post. Now, when you are customizing the blog, you've got three areas to do. You've got the blog post. If you come down a little bit, you've got the overall blog, okay, that shows all of the articles. And then you've also got the blog search. And chances are you might have this little sidebar that you can see here, visible on all three of those areas, the blog search, the blog, and the blog post. I just wanted to point out that the three sidebars are completely like not connected, unrelated. I mean, you probably do want them all to look the same, but if you set up the sidebar in the blog post area, it's not going to carry through to the main blog or to the blog search. You need to customize the sidebar 3 separate times if you want the sidebar to show in each of those areas. Now, you could switch it off. You could say, I only want the sidebar to show on the article itself, for example. But if you do want it to show in all 3 of those areas, just a power tip that you do need to customize it in all 3 spots. Don't think it's going to carry over into the other 2 areas once you have set it up. Now, the first area that we are jumping into is the blog post itself. So again, we will go over here and click Customize, and we'll just wait for it to pop up. Okay, so it pulls through a blog from your site. Now, another power tip here is if it's not really doing anything, okay, if you go to customize and you can't see anything, chances are you haven't written and published a blog. Okay, so you need to do that first before you can customize the look of the blog. And perhaps you don't actually have a blog in mind like right now, but at least go and set up like a dummy blog, publish it. It only has to be like, a sentence. Publish it, and then you can come in and do your customization, and then you can go and unpublish the blog, okay? All the customization will stay, but then you can take that blog down because it was just, a dummy blog, for example. So the actual writing of your blog is not done from in here, okay? The actual writing of the blog is done inside of the blog area, inside of your website menu. So if I go over here, click on blog, okay, this is where you actually create your blog posts. And if I just click into this one, this is not where you make it pretty, okay? This is where you just put in the copy or any images that you want to embed throughout the look of your blog. I'll just wait for that to load. Okay, so you can put a video if you've got a video file that you want to upload. You can put audio there if you've got an audio file you want to upload. You could just put an image, okay, if you would like an image to sit at the top of your blog. And then you would give your blog a name, and you would go through and you would write the blog. You'd add any tags, okay, where it says organization, any tags or categories so that people can search your blog for relevant articles. And you'd come in and do the SEO details, which is what's going to show up if you were to share the link to your blog somewhere like Facebook, okay? What title do you want to come up? What description? This is a very old image from like 6 years ago, but what image would you want it to pull through to go with your blog? All right, so this is where you write the blog, but that's not really what we're talking about today. Okay, what I wanted to talk about is once you've got a blog written and, oops, up here, it's published, okay, and you can also backdate if you want to. If you've got like a year of blogs to put in because you're moving over from somewhere else, and you don't want them all to show as being published on the same day, then you can specify the publishing date and you can backdate it. Now, once you've got at least one blog in here published, then you could go over here where we've gone through to the blog post area. Then you can see this is the same blog under a rock that I was looking at, that I was writing a minute ago, under a rock. Okay, now we decide over here in the blog post area how we want our blogs to look. And the Kajabi site's going to pull through a blog. I don't know how it picks which blog it's going to pull through. But just know that any customization you do here is going to be the same on each blog article. So just because they've pulled one through here as like a example, okay, any customization you do to the sidebar or to anything over here inside of this blog post body section is going to show on all blog articles. And if we click in here, you can specify things like, if you want the header to sit on the top, do you want the date to show or not really? Do you want the tags, those categories to show? Some styling things, the sidebar when your people are on a particular blog article? Do you want the sidebar to show up? Make sure you go in and do all of the social links and things so that it's not linking to Kajabi. Now, the bit though that I wanted to talk about was down here. Under the blog article, you can switch on a call to action and an opt-in, and that's controlled over here as well. So if we click in here, you can toggle it on or off. I just switched it off and yep, okay, so now it's disappeared. Now I wanted to point out that if you are going to have the blog post call to action showing under the blog, so perhaps it's something like register for my webinar, click here to learn more. And then you might also decide to have the opt-in switched on. Whatever is that down here, blog post opt-in. You have that on or off. You can decide what form goes in there and where people should go after they have opted in. So it might be something like, you know, your newsletter. I don't personally really opt in for newsletters at all these days, but if you think that your newsletter is pretty good, you could put a newsletter down there. It might be your freebie. But what I wanted to state here is that whatever you put into this call to action block and this opt-in block, those same two things are going to show under every article. Okay, so it needs to be generic enough that it makes sense that it's under every article. You wouldn't put a call to action here that is specific to this example blog that Kajabi have pulled through, okay? Because, you know, when people are on this particular article, this call to action is going to make sense. But if people are on one of your other articles and you've got a call to action that's relating to this article, it's not going to make sense at all, okay? So make sure whatever goes into the call to action and this opt-in section is going to be okay to be displayed under every blog article. Now, what I would do, because we're talking about optimizing things, is in the blog article itself, you might want to hyperlink to a freebie or a webinar or something that is specific to your blog article, okay? Because if people are on the article, blogs are really easy to share in Facebook groups and things. And when somebody is on the article, they might, you know, be reading it, they get all the way to the bottom and they think, oh, this person's got a free checklist that goes with this blog and they want to opt in, okay? So it's a great way to gather leads through your blog. But here's where I wanted to point out my other power tip, okay? So if we go up here, just scroll up a little bit, you can see that this here is a hyperlink, okay? I've put it in a different color, it's underlined, and if people click on that, that's an affiliate link that I have put into this particular example blog. But there's a second hyperlink in this article and you wouldn't even know it. If I just was to go up here, you can see how my little cursor turns to a hand. That also, free tool, is also a hyperlink and people would just have no idea that it is. And the reason is when you put hyperlinks into your blog articles in Kajabi, so if we come over here, you can see I've hyperlinked in here and in the back end of the blog, it looks to me as the admin that it's a hyperlink and it is a hyperlink. It looks to me like it's going to show as blue, okay? But in reality, if all you do is add in, let's just grab that link, just add a second one for you. And we just say, oh, I would like that to be a hyperlink. And one other thing, actually, while I'm adding this link in, let me point out another power tip for you. This isn't in your workbook, I don't think. But when you are linking to things, usually a good idea to put in new window so that if somebody clicks the link, it opens up whatever that is, this URL, as a new tab rather than taking them out of your Kajabi site. Okay, this is super useful in things like lessons. You know, like students hate to be taken out of the course lesson because you linked to a YouTube, for example. But anytime you're hyperlinking to things that are off of Kajabi, you'll usually want to come in here to the target and change it from none to new window. Okay, so we put the hyperlink in, it turns blue. It looks, you know, it looks underlined. We save it. We come back over here and we refresh. Okay, so down here, oh, where did I put it? Oh, this one, watch the video. So you can see if I go back over it, it turns to a hand. It is a hyperlink, but people aren't going to know that. So what I wanted to say here is if you are adding hyperlinks to freebies, checklists, whatever, inside of your blogs, take a second. So take a second to highlight it after you've added in your little link. Well, come up here to format. I mean, you can just Control U I'm on PC, Control U to underline it, but you can come here to inline, and then over here, underline, okay? And it looks the same, but actually now the underline will exist. And then you could go one step further if you wanted to, and you could change the link color, and then we save it, back over here, and do another refresh. Okay, now it's very, very obvious, okay, that this one is in fact a hype, because that one catches a lot of people. All right, now while we are on the topic of the blog, this particular blog, I uploaded a video file to it, okay? I recorded a little tutorial, went to so much effort, like back in 2019, one of my very first tutorials, and I had this video file and I uploaded it into the media section. And you can do that, but these days I'm probably more likely, if I've recorded like a training video, I'm probably going to put it over on YouTube. And if you're going to put it on YouTube, you obviously would like some subscribers. So what I would do in that case, I would actually come over here. If I had a video file in the blog, I'd come here, I'd probably remove that video. I'll leave it there for now because it serves as a good example. But what I prefer to do these days is go over to my YouTube channel, grab the embed code and put the video inside itself. And that way people can watch the video without leaving the Kajabi site, and they can even subscribe to my channel without leaving the Kajabi site. So let's do that now. If I just bring my YouTube across. So the one that we'll work with is this one here. Okay, so I've got this video that I've created on ghost offers, and if I go to share it and I click to embed, and it gives me this iframe bit of code, and I can copy it. And oops, where are we? Not that one, over here. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to go into the source code icon, and wherever you would, I mean, I know this looks like gobbledygook. You have to find the spot in here where you would like your YouTube to go. Often you want it just at the top above the article. So that's where I'm going to put it, like that. Okay, so now the actual YouTube video just comes up right inside of the article itself. We just save and come over here and refresh. And we just imagine that this old video is no longer there, that we took it out, and that instead, sitting on the top is, and now we've got that YouTube there. And if people click the button, the little subscribe will come up down here in the right-hand corner. Okay, so people can do all of that on the Kajabi site without having to, click off to anywhere else. And these YouTubes, I mean, we've just embedded one inside of the blog, but you could embed it in lesson posts as well, or on your homepage, or wherever it is that you would like to do it. You just need to look out for the little source code icon, and you just need to look out for the little source code icon and then paste it into the right spot. Okay, so text blocks all have this little icon. Okay, keep an eye out for it, because so many things can be embedded onto into blogs, onto pages, into lessons, just here through the source code. Now, while we're on that topic, the other thing that I'm going to embed in here is a podcast player, okay? Because up here you can upload, instead of a video, we could have uploaded an audio file. But often if you've got an audio file, these days it's probably sitting on a podcast somewhere. So if you go over to wherever your podcast is hosted, mine's on Buzzsprout, but wherever yours is hosted, and I haven't seen a way to grab the embed. If yours happens to be hosted on Kajabi, I have not seen a way as yet to grab the embed code from a Kajabi podcast episode. I have to go and see if that has changed. But if you've got your podcast somewhere else, like Buzzsprout, you could grab it from there. You could also grab it from Spotify. Okay, if you're distributing out to Spotify your podcast episode from somewhere like Kajabi, once it reaches Spotify and it's available to the world, you'll be able to grab an embed code from there. And I will just show you what it looks like. Let me just bring this page over, which is, oops, the Tina homepage that we're going to look at in a second. But you can see that we have embedded a podcast player right here inside of this text block. So if I click into that, you can see it's just your standard text block, a bit of text, and the player itself. And often, people will purchase my templates and they'll be like, how do I swap the player that's there to my own podcast episode? Right, so again, you just go into that magical little source code icon, and you can see there that there's this iframe. This one is a Spotify iframe. I'm just going to borrow this one off of the Tina homepage. Oh, sorry, missed a bit. Just like that. And if I go back over to my blog, source code, and we'll just put it there. Okay, now it looks from here that it's only that wide, but if I come up here and click save and we refresh, other things that you can embed, guys, would be like your calendar from somewhere like Calendly, if you wanted people to be able to book a call with you right on your contact page, for example, clicking away to Calendly. There are so many things that will give you one of those little iframe embed codes, so keep an eye out for them. And you can see there now we have got that player showing up as well. So hopefully a couple of little tips and hacks there that will make your blog a little more user-friendly and optimized for people who are visiting your website.